Konnichiwa.
Howdy, y'all.
I'm Leslie.
I'm Laurie. Welcome to Sumo Kaboom.
Kaboom, where we talk about all things sumo.
Yep. And this week we are going through days 10 through 15 of the Aki Basho, the one that just ended. Super, super fun. We're going to talk about our favorite moments from each day. But first, we have some Sumo Bingo winners to talk about. Congratulations to everyone that played bingo. As of recording, we are still receiving all of your bingo submissions for second place bingo winners. That's for people who like bingo on day 15 and they just want to share the joy. We put you on a list for second place winners and we draw for more Sumo merch prizes from that list in a couple of days. So those are still rolling in. Thank you. But I want to say congratulations to our Makikoshi Bingo winner. And I'm so sorry because I am going to just horrendously say this person's name. Okay, this person is a sumo fan from Hungary. And his name is Mariusz Kurtets. Kurtesis? Kurtes. This is like when we were trying to speak Mongolian names.
Yes. Marius is the name?
It's Mariusz.
So it's like Marius, but with extra, like an extra pizzazz, a little bzz. Marius. And then, well, that's all that matters.
Yes. It's Marius, who is a sumo fan from Hungary in everyday life. He is a chemical engineer. According to my mother, it was clear to her early on that I would become a sumo fan, since during her pregnancy I was constantly throwing suparis inside her belly. I've been interested in Japanese culture and gastronomy since high school, and that's how sumo came into the picture for me. The January 1996 tournament was the first one I followed all the way through on TV together with my father, and since then I haven't missed a single tournament. That tournament was won by Taka no Nami, who became my first favorite. I don't know Taka no Nami. Do you?
I don't. I've never heard of him.
No, and I started watching sumo after 1996. So I'll have to look that person up. My sumo mania even rubbed off on my partner, whom I met in 2001. She instantly fell in love with Taka Misakari at first sight. Well, don't we all? Don't we all?
He's amazing.
Yep. Even nowadays, we often watch the bouts together in the mornings. Her favorites are Takayasu and Ura. Great taste. While mine are Hoshoryu, Aonishiki, and Midori Fuji. My heart still aches for Wakataka Kage. I was really rooting for him to achieve the Ozeki rank. Yeah, and you're not alone. We all were. Mm-hmm. During the tournaments, I play several kinds of sumo games, and bingo is one of the most exciting among them. I'm very happy that I managed to win. Many thanks to Sumo Kaboom for organizing the game and for the podcast episodes. I really enjoyed the interview with Aonishiki. Best regards from Budapest.
Amazing.
How do we have listeners all over the world? That still blows my mind.
I don't know. I love
it.
What also blows my mind is just how short I cut my bangs.
And you're seeing that in the video? Did you cut them yourself?
I did.
Well done. That's very brave.
No, I mean, if you normally watch us, well, I guess if you listen to us, you wouldn't really be able to track. But if you happen to be watching this video on YouTube, you can also see they're quite short. Anyway, that's a side note. That has nothing to do with sumo, but I just am staring at myself being like, what's different? I was like, oh, you could see half of my forehead above my eyebrows. Anyway, let me tell you about our Kachikoshi Bingo winner. Okay. Our Kachikoshi Bingo winner was Brian. And Brian said, I discovered sumo probably 10 years ago via the NHK World News app on the TV. I visited Japan in 2013 and was very interested in learning more for that next trip. Prior to watching sumo, my only exposure to it was at those silly, party/trust building exercises where people get into those fat man suits and bounce off each other.
Oh, yeah.
So watching real sumo couldn't have been any more different. Completely agree.
Yes, night and day.
when he came to the sport, this is the era of Hakuho versus Harabafuji, when they were
Oh,
both big physical technical wrestlers.
mm.
NHK has several other great English shows about sumo as well, and the shows where they look behind the stats over many years is always fascinating. So yeah, agreed. Like NHK has the breakdowns, but it also has lots of other sumo content, and I can't get enough of it. So he also says, I do my best to watch each basho. The bingo card really helps because the first few days of any tournament can be a bit of a slow, start when all the scores are 0-2, 1-1, 2-0. It's hard to separate the pack and get excited. Having a bingo card means you can get involved in various ways, maki koshi or kachi koshi. You still hang on till the end, even if your favorite wrestler is out. So thanks again and see you next tournament, he says. So congratulations. And yeah,
Brian,
also lives
Iceland.
Iceland. Yeah. I don't
Iceland. So our winners this time were Hungary and Iceland.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird is that like maybe since the Ionishiki video, lots of people have been finding us on TikTok and everywhere else. And so I think our reach, just because of that video, people are finally finding us. And we've been around for 5 years now, but people are still finding us and they're all over the world. So if you're listening and this is your first time, welcome. We're happy to have you. And we have so much content. Uh 5 years worth. So
Yeah. Not all of it prime, primo,
or
prime. Or
or
preemie.
pre.
It was kind of preemie in the initial stages, but we've gotten better. Yeah,
Yes.
hopefully we've gotten better. Anyway, thank you very much to our sponsors of the bingo game. Leslie and her jam making, primary sponsor. Uh,
These hands.
Robert from Big Sumo Fan
Yes.
has been a sponsor for years. We absolutely love you, Robert. He is the place to go. His shop is a place to go if you want sumo merch in the US. He does ship all over the world. And of course, our latest sponsor, Cheeky Sumo, who also is in the US and makes all sort of training gear, mawashis and t-shirts and all sorts of things. We will tell you who our winner of the most creative bingo card is soon, because we're still gathering submissions for that.
Yeah.
So
There
if
were some
you,
good contenders.
yeah,
I really liked some of the talent in
the
the
creative
creative.
talent,
I
yeah, I would
did.
say the same for the sumo. Sometimes it's very creative and I appreciate it.
As far as news, you want to hear a news flash?
Sure.
Okay, I can't really say much news in this episode after the boss show because it like gives away everything. In case you haven't watched sumo and you have no idea how it all went down until days later, the biggest prize money was given this tournament to Onosato, who topped all other records, Hakuho records, everything. Each tournament with the money he made equals like, I don't know, they make between 100 and 200,000 in just extra prize money, something like that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm looking it up.
31.14 million yen.
31.14 million yen is huge dollars. That's what I just put in. $209,555. So are you saying he made over $200,000 in one basho?
Yes.
That's a really good job, buddy. That's nice.
Yeah, that's on top of their salary too. I mean, all the
Wow.
guys with their prize winning are doing pretty good. But the average for the yokozunas, I think, is, sometimes between 100 and it could be 200. But this topped Hakuho's record. So that's a nice payday for Onosato.
Yep.
So
Yep.
good
He
job,
had
buddy.
to earn it. He had to earn it.
He did. He did. And that's kind of all I have for.
Okay. You want to
Sumo.
take us back to day 10?
Day 10.
Hoshoryu was undefeated at 9-0. Onosato and Shodai each had one loss. And Aonishiki, Takanosho, and Ryuden had 7-2 records.
Wow. Okay. Day 10 was fun for me because Midori Fuji took down Ichi Yamamoto. And I always just like to mention the matches where a little guy takes down a much larger guy. And that was this That was Midori Fuji. That's exactly what he did. He got inside on the right and then gets moved back to the edge by Ichi Yamamoto. But he pivots and sets up for a beautiful shitatanage, and it was gorgeous. Yay! We get to see the little guy throw the big guy, so that's always fun. I'm going to pop down the Banzuke to Ionishiki versus Hakuoho. Now, I just think this pairing is just going to be a pairing that I hope we get to see for many years to come. That
It's like cheese and wine.
They go perfect together.
Mm-hmm.
They both are so incredibly strong, and
like anything and ranch dip.
Yes,
like pizza and ranch, like cheese fry and ranch.
Yep,
like carrot and ranch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope our worldwide listeners know what ranch dip is or ranch dressing. Because you should. It goes on everything. Everything.
If they don't have it in Iceland, that's sad.
Well, we'll have to have a Sumo Kaboom recipe for ranch dip. It's totally worth making. Okay, anyway, up top, Ionishiki, they clash. They tachi-ai. Ionishiki gets in. He does get a grip on the left side, and Hakuoho feels that. So he goes a flailing. He's like a fish on the line. He's trying to get Ionishiki off of his belt. But Ionishiki, I swear he has glue fingers. He stays holding on to that belt. Ionishiki is just doing his A game of just inching back, head into the chest on his opponent, Hakuoho. And he basically, that rush and smother technique wins every single time. And Hakuoho had no answer. So it was a Yorikiri win for Ionishiki. But I mentioned him because he's solid as ever. He's become our new favorite. And he's sitting at 8-2. You can't count him out. He's just doing great. Hiradoumi versus Wakataka Kage. I hated this match. Not because of the two wrestlers, but just because this day was a big day as far as losses. So up top, Hiradoumi rocketed towards Wakataka Kage. He rushed Wakataka Kage back into the edge and is leaning with his entire belly on Wakataka Kage. Wakataka Kage is up too high, cannot resist at the edge. Wakataka Kage tries with the right inside grip, and he's standing on his tippy toes on the Tawada. You remember that? Like it was Herculean in effort. It was just like a cat holding on to the Tawada. And he tries to throw Hiradoumi in this kind of awkward up too high kind of position with an underarm throw or something, but Hiradoumi was just too forceful. It didn't work, and he leaned even harder, and he managed to just nudge Wakataka Kage over the bales. And Wakataka Kage was not able to stay in, and that meant that Wakataka Kage's Ozeki dreams were really, really over. And this was the first win Hiradoumi has had over Wakataka Kage in six matchups. So
is that supposed to make me feel better?
No. Just
this was
Hiradoumi, but I feel like Wakataka Kage has so much strength, and he's a little bit, he has so much mental strength, and he doesn't seem injured. He could be injured, but I felt like the gravity of his loss and what that meant, because having another Ozeki run it's really hard to do. And
and this was all over
opportunity that just man, it stunk for so many of us who are huge fans of Wakataka Kage.
Yep, agreed.
Kotozakura beat Kirishima, and it was also Herculean efforts in this one. Onosato easily beat Kota Shoho, but the last match of the day, Wakamoto Haru versus Hoshoryu, was incredible because it was a huge beltless arm throw that was pretty dynamic, and Hoshoryu continues his run on day 10 of just creaming everybody who comes in his path. He's just really good, 10-0 on day 10.
Yeah, Hoshoryu just looked flat out unstoppable.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. He looked really good. Okay, so day 11?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, can we talk about how good Takanosho has looked this time? I know we mentioned it in our last episode, but Onigiri. Takanosho's nickname is Onigiri, or rice ball,
Yeah.
because of his shape, and he's just got that very friendly face. So Onigiri slapped down Ryuden, and I loved watching Takanosho take Ryuden out of the Yusho race completely. I was on board. Takanosho had good balance. He stayed in the ring. He looked strong. All of his pushing looks really good the majority of the time, and it's just so wonderful to see him performing like this. So I loved it on day 11. Another one of my favorite bouts on day 11, Shodai versus Aonishiki. And I mention this only because people are starting to identify a way to take on Aonishiki. If you can pull his chest up and get your arms underneath his shoulders, you've got a pretty good chance. It's not 100%, but you got a pretty good shot. But you got to pull his chest up in order to do it. So that is what Shodai did. He caught Aonishiki under the arms, pulled Aonishiki high, and Aonishiki tried everything to escape, but Shodai is very responsive, and he's really good in that position. That's what makes him so very dangerous, is that he can respond laterally so quickly. So it seemed as though Aonishiki was caught unawares by this win. He was certainly caught. And Shodai walked away with this win on day 11. And it was exciting because both of them met with an 8-2 record. They both had kachikoshis and very few losses. So it was just kind of really cool to watch. Koto Zakura, our Ozeki Koto Zakura, had just did a really nice throw on Wakamoto Haru, even after Wakamoto Haru got his favorite grip. But the problem was Wakamoto Haru could not move Koto Zakura anywhere. He couldn't back him up. Koto Zakura was just like concrete. Could not move him. And then Koto Zakura just completely overpowered Wakamoto Haru. So there is, when you're a bigger guy, you're just flat out harder to move. And sometimes that is what wins the sumo. Koto Zakura did a nice job of that. And I'm sure it was a relief because that was his kachikoshi. And as Ozeki, you gotta get that every time to hold on to your status. So it was great for him. Onosato match, I'm not even going to mention it because most of the time they're so one-sided. It's like, Onosato won again. And I should say the same for Hoshoryu, because Hoshoryu's matches have seemed very one-sided, but they're always more exciting to me because it's not just like a size overhaul. Like, it's not just like, oh, that guy's so much bigger and his arms are so much longer. He throws so many different things into his sumo. He's just, for me personally, more exciting to watch most of the time. So we got a matchup between Kirishima and Hoshoryu on day 11 that was so fun. They locked up and it became this huge power battle between, two guys from Mongolia who have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. They were both on the belts. Hoshoryu tried a sotogake, did not work. That's a leg trip, did not work. And then he regained a belt grip and threw Hoshoryu through a gorgeous, one of those full body uwachinages that he throws. This time, Kirishima went ass over tits and landed on the ground. So it was just pretty and exciting. And again, Hoshoryu undefeated, now 11-0. And right behind him, Onosato at 10-1. And then we had Takanosho and Shodai following with 2 losses apiece.
Okay, let's talk about day 12. What was happening on day 12? There was lots of action. Let's skip to Wakamoto Haru versus Oho.
Wakamoto Haru is showing up in our favorite bouts more often this time.
Yes. Yes, he is. I love the guy. He's not bad to look at either. Okay, so this match versus Oho was a really nice reversal of fortunes. Up top, Oho advances on Wakamoto Haru to the edge and almost out. So Wakamoto Haru, circles around laterally, repositions himself in the center of the doyo, and he advances again back on Oho. Wakamoto Haru is now deep inside on Oho and is now chest to chest. He just leans and then he crushes out Oho. So it was called a Nuwatanage, but there was like an aspect of a throw in there, but mostly like a crush out as well. So even Murray, when he was like describing it, he said it was like a frontal crush out, but the official Kimarite was something different. But it was like one of those things where Wakamoto Haru was under Oho's arm on one side. It was it was a Uwatanage for Wakamoto Haru, but I said reversal of fortune because up top, Oho did such a great job to just completely post Tachiai, just advance Wakamoto Haru to the edge and almost out. He just couldn't do it, and Wakamoto Haru just skirted laterally, and then he reversed the whole game plan to charge back on Oho, and this time it worked in his favor. Poor Gonoyama finally got his first win up against Abi, who is also
Yay.
having a terrible tournament. Two total terrible tournaments in one match together. Not much of an accomplishment, but I imagine for Gonoyama, it must have felt great.
Huge relief, I imagine. Yeah.
Wakataka Kage got an easy win over Onokatsu. He was low and got the belt on the front of Onokatsu and just yanked, and Onokatsu was pulled down into the dirt in front of him. And I mention that because it had to feel good, knowing probably how he felt the day before, that he was like, all right, there's no pressure on me to get this Ozeki thing. Let me just do my thing. Let me just get back to wrestling, and who cares? And we saw that on day 12. Kotozakura versus Takanosho. This was another reversal of fortunes. The circle around win again is what we had seen before with Wakamoto Haru, and it was the exact same thing for Takanosho. Up top, Takanosho came in lower. Kotozakura came in close and charged and moved Takanosho back to the edge. Takanosho just circled around, repositioned himself in the center with Kotozakura on the outside, right by the bales, and then Takanosho just drove with a huge shove on Kotozakura on his chin, easily pushed him out. Takanosho is 10-2 after this match, and he's very close on the leaderboard, so I kind of love that.
Oh, Nagiri!
Yeah, I'm always celebrating when he's like having a good tournament because he's just the sweetest looking guy. Okay.
It feels like there's something right in the world when he has a good tournament.
Yes, I agree. Let's talk about the most fun match of the day, and that was Hoshoryu versus Ionishiki. Okay, so the tachiai between the two is good and strong. Ionishiki and Hoshoryu just thrust at each other. A second, Ionishiki is just kind of waiting as usual to get inside with his favorite position, head to chest and to drive back on Hoshoryu. But Hoshoryu decided to step back and pull instead and usher Ionishiki beside him and hopefully out like a matador, but that didn't work because Ionishiki stayed grounded on Hoshoryu and was now wedged at the edge. So Hoshoryu tries to lift up his leg and kind of, I don't know if you remember the visual, but this is when he was kind of pinned at the edge, wedged, and Ionishiki was pushing like hell, and he lifted up his leg, Hoshoryu do, to kind of like balance and kind of move off to the side. Because I guess he figured, he's like, I'm either going out or I'm going to lift up my lift up my leg and try to move laterally. And that's what he did. So he lifted up his leg. Oh my God, I cannot speak today. I cannot speak today. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
He lifted up his bag or his egg or his egg.
Everything but a leg. Oh God. Okay. So his balance was a little off and he's seriously panicking now. And at this point,
Hoshoryu panicking?
Panicking,
Do you think
yes.
he panics? I'm not sure he ever panics.
He did in this match because Ionishiki had him up against the ropes and his leg was in the air. He was balancing like a ballerina on the Tawada edge. So Ionishiki, in all of this kind of panic, has now improved his grip, and he's got a strong, deep grip and has his head, as usual, in Hoshoryu's chest. Hoshoryu does, like, miraculously, I don't know how he did it. He moves laterally. He is not going out, but he gets around and a bit, like, he manages to get himself a little bit away from the edge. Ionishiki followed, went with him, and used that circular motion that Hoshoryu started, went with them and used it to try and throw the yokozuna. Hoshoryu set up in that circular move as well for an overarm throw. And he had Ionishiki's left arm at that point in an overarm throw position. But instead, Ionishiki in that moment, because he knew Hoshoryu was about to throw, he decided he's going to use his back leg and lift up on Hoshoryu. And he lifted up and then leaned back, which sent the Yokozuna's leg out from under him and down into the dirt. He fell down into the dirt. And it was a Kirikaeshi win for Ionishiki. And yeah, I love that match because after this match, that was Hoshoryu's very first loss. And now it's anybody's tournament.
Yeah, and it's such a cool move. I mean, it's like grabbing someone and pulling them backwards and tripping them at the same time. It's such a cool looking wrestling move.
Yeah, and also I like this match because visually in my mind when I'm thinking about it, Ionishiki did like a really beautiful job of like feeling where Hoshoryu was pulling and then working with the momentum, working with the way the bodies were flowing and then using it to his advantage, which is what Hoshoryu does a lot of the time. So that's why it was really exciting for me. And on this day, I have no idea. I assume Onosato won. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
he
he
did.
did.
Easy thrust out, big win for Onosato. So yeah, that was a great day of sumo, mainly for that Hoshoryu Ionishiki match.
Yeah, because then it meant they were tied. They both had one loss. You're right.
Yeah.
That changed everything. Suddenly, it was like, ooh, this is getting good. So going into day 13 was such a fun day of sumo, I thought. Oh, just all across the board. Super, super fun. One of the first matches I want to mention, though, Tomokaze got his kachikoshi on day 13. And I mention him not specifically for the sumo, but I mention him because when I first started watching sumo, Tomokaze was in the top division.
Yeah.
And
he's been injured forever. I thought he was eternally injured.
I thought he had retired until pretty much this tournament. I thought he had retired. So to see him come back was like, when I first saw him come back, I was like, wait, I recognize that guy. Like, how do I remember that guy? I'd kind of forgotten his story. It had been that long. Yeah. So to see him come back and then to be reminded by the commentators that he's been out from the top division since 2019. That's before COVID. Since before then, he's had 7 surgeries on his knee. 7. Yeah. Isn't that incredible? And here he is. He climbed back up. So this was like, it gave me all the nostalgia that I needed for right when I was first started watching sumo and just happiness. I'm so happy for the guy.
He hasn't been, I mean, I know he's been down, but he wasn't injured. He was more recently in the last year or two in Makuuchi. He just got bumped down because he had terrible tournaments.
I don't even recall him if he was in the top division again. Honestly, I don't. He was like, who is this guy? Oh, yeah, I remember him. And we should look at his record because I thought this was his first time up in Makuuchi. I just think it's nice to see a guy who's been that injured come back, get a kachikoshi, and look strong. Like he's been able to shift his sumo in a way and use different skills.
May 2024, he was Maegashira 16. And I imagine also he's been Juryo kind of since then. He's Juryo too. So we've seen him guest up into Makuuchi, probably playing, wrestling the guys lower on the Makuuchi.
You maybe have, but I have not seen him.
Well, you were watching 2024. You saw him in 2024, and that's when he was having a terrible tournament.
He disappeared into the void in my mind and did not reappear until 2025.
Okay, fair enough.
Where suddenly he's back. And I'm like, where have you been since 2019? Nice to see you back. I want to mention, occasionally I have these moments when I'm watching sumo and I see someone do something that blows my mind. And the athleticism of sumo just kind of humbles me. And I had one of those moments in Kusano versus Roga. Oh my God. Especially, so right at the end of this match, and, Kusano won this handily. But right at the edge of the match, they each had each other's belt. Kusano drove forward, and you know how he gets right at the edge, he takes that super wide squat. He's really low and he takes that super wide squat, and he won't let his opponent escape anywhere but backwards and out of the ring. So he did that to Roga. So he's in the super low squat, not even like a half sumo squat like I would do, like the deepest sumo squat I have ever seen. And he leaned forward and did a Yori Taoshi on Roga. So Roga's like wriggling. He's like using all of his muscles to try to escape one way or the other. And Kusano's in the super deep sumo squat and just leans forward and pancakes him in that like frog-like position, which if any other human being did that who had normal hips, did that, their legs would fall off. Okay, joke. But their
No,
legs would fall off.
dislocation for sure.
Yes. I always forget, like, that is one of the things that hooked me into sumo at the very beginning. The flexibility of these men's hips, the flexibility and strength. And that was, for me, one of those moments, again, where I was like, that is unbelievable that they can do that safely.
Yeah, well, and that's one of their training exercises. They sit in the straddle, and then straddle splits, and then one of the other guys presses down on his back until his belly touches the dirt in a straddle position. And that is exactly for moments like that, where they don't disconnect their legs. They have incredible, if you're a dancer, you would know, turnout, like insane turnout. Their legs could be like a Barbie doll, like in the socket turned all the way around.
Imagine being in your deepest forward fold and then having to hold someone who is like flying around in that position. The strength and the flexibility, the combo of the two is what blows my mind.
Yeah.
So I just had one of those moments in day 13, and I kind of feel like I go off into another world, but I want to mention it because it's so cool. Hakuoho was in full driver's seat against Onokatsu on day 13, took him to 7-6. Just mention it because I see Hakuoho's spirit in that kid. I love his sumo. I love his style. And I love him in the interview box because he's just well-spoken, and I want to pinch his cute, cuddly cheeks.
He smiles.
He smiles, and he's just, I just love that kid.
I do too. He's a fave.
Oh my God. Okay, Takanosho met Aonishiki on this day. Takanosho pushed Aonishiki to the edge very, very quickly with a succession of thrusts. Aonishiki moved to his left at the edge, brushed against Takanosho's belt, recovered lightning fast, ran forward, grabbed Takanosho's thigh, and ran him right out of the ring. It was just pretty. It was pretty. And that took Aonishiki to 10-3. It's like we're focusing on Aonishiki or something.
Yeah, if he wasn't showing up for the last how many ever bashos, just completely creaming everybody and then showing incredible technique, incredible drive, incredible spirit and heart, like we wouldn't talk about him, but he has. He's been amazing.
Yeah, just continues to be amazing. Koto Zakura immediately overwhelmed Hoshoryu on day 13. It was Hoshoryu's second loss after such a promising start to this basho. But I think it was Koto Zakura's size that really helped him here. He grabbed Hoshoryu and then he just never, ever stopped walking forward. And I thought, how things change in sumo. You're on top of the world having the best basho of your life. And then 2 bouts back to back, 2 days in a row, just change everything. It sucks. Like the highs of sumo are so high and the lows of sumo are so low. Mm-hmm. So it must have been a little more difficult than it looked, because I believe this is the last day that Koto Zakura was in competition, but that gave him a 9th win. It was great. Onosato met Wakataka Kage. It was another one of those situations where size really does help. Onosato reacted super well, just responded to everything that Wakataka Kage threw at him, kept moving forward, and it was another loss for Wakataka Kage, and I don't like it. But that meant at the end of day 13, we had a new leader. which was Onosato,
Mm-hmm.
followed by Hoshoryu, and then followed again by Aonishiki and Takanosho with 3 losses apiece. So everything changed. Everything shifted on day 13, which is kind of why it was so exciting to watch.
Yes. Day 14, though, had quite a bit of excitement. All the storylines start to point to like the same wrestlers, and we keep talking about the same breakdowns, the same guys over and over. And again, I'm going to talk about Ionishiki because he beat Hiradoumi pretty easily. Hiradoumi's initial charge was strong and actually moved Ionishiki backwards, but his secondary charge Ionishiki had was especially good. And amidst all of that, Ionishiki got inside under the arms of Hiradoumi and did a sneaky pull down on Hiradoumi's chest as he quickly jumped to the side. He did a little hop to the side and then further nudged him into the dirt. It looked like Hiradoumi maybe actually slipped and fell forward because he was so far forward, but whatever the case, Ionishiki gets a win and he's at 11-3. This is his debut into Sanyaku. 11-3. This position is so hard to get double digits, let alone improve upon double digits. So, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Kotozakura gave...
That was the smartest reaction I've ever given you. Yeah.
Well, it's true. It's true.
You can quote me on that.
Larry
Yeah.
says, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kotozakura gave Onosato the Kyujo win. So this is the day Kotozakura decided that his ACL injury is creating issues, I think, and he got his kachikoshi and he's an ozeki and he does not need to be injuring himself further. And I don't blame him for that. And Onosato got the free win that day. So
I hated this.
yeah. But I mean, you're not going to win the tournament and you got 9. What was he? 9 at that point? He had 9 at that point. Not just like a simple one, but like, he's like, I could injure myself over the next couple of days because I'm going to be fighting the top dogs. So,
Oh, you're talking about Kotozakura?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like when the guy who's in the lead gets a free win, it kind of hurts my heart. I feel like, oh, that's so not fair.
I know.
Oh, you're one ahead of everybody else, and you get a freebie. Oh,
I know, but they decided the day before. He's like, I'm set up against Onosato. It's going to be a loss probably, and my ACL is hurting. Let's just back out. So, anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Takanosho versus Kirishima. Takanosho owned Kirishima with a very strong tachiai. He had this incredible tsupari sequence and a bit of nodowa in there and a shove on the upper body of Kirishima with this forward this forward lean at the very end. Takanosho with this win is also 11-3. And I love when Takanosho is on. And sadly, though, this gave Kirishima his makikoshi, but it was a beautiful win for Takanosho. And then the last...
but can I say one thing?
Sure.
That meant Kirishima with a makikoshi. That means both of our sekewakes ended up with makikoshis this time. Which means
Ionishiki
yes
will become a sekiwake. And he'll be on his ozeki run.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You start doing the math in your head, or the banzuke, how you start seeing next basho's banzuke in your head, and you get excited and kind of disappointed all at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the last bout of the day that I want to chat. Well, Onosato
didn't have to do anything. He just had to do his doyo iri that day. That's
all he did. Hoshoryu had to work, and him versus Wakataka Kage. If you want to talk about what doesn't seem fair, is this match, because it was very disappointing, because it's sort of an insult, I think, to the man who was on his ozeki run and who's trying to go up against the yokozuna to maybe save some face. He's hoping for some straightforward sumo. And what he gets is a henka. I think Hoshoryu did a huge face slap and then hopped to the side. And it was an easy win because Wakataka Kage fell forward onto his belly. And I have to say, I'm sure Wakataka Kage knows that this kind of thing, can happen. But I feel like with his spirit, he's always maybe a tiny bit surprised when it comes from someone who outranks him. He's like, hey man, I didn't show up with a henka, and I know you need the win because basically Onosato got the free win today. You want an easy win too. But yeah, it hurt. It hurt for Wakataka Kage. And you could see it all over his face. All over his face. And the fans did not like it at all.
I have to agree. I was quite disappointed in this
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, what would happen if they both hanked at the same time?
A
Has
double
that ever
hanka.
happened? Yeah. Has that ever happened before? Have you ever seen that happen?
We need a shout out to all of our listeners. Can you find us a time,
An
example of like two, like not sort of hanka, but like two full on hankas,
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
simultaneous
Yes.
hankas. I got to see that match. That's
Me too.
That's all I got for day 14.
Oh, going into day 15, we had Onosato in the lead, 13-1. Hoshoryu right behind him, 12-2. We were going to have a yokozuna showdown.
Yeah.
If Onosato won, he would win the Yusho outright. If Hoshoryu won, he would force a playoff.
Yes.
So honestly, for me, going into day 15, I was not that excited about it. I was like, Onosato will probably win. That was the way I approached it. However, the sumo boys proved me wrong. They showed up for every bout, beginning to end. They gave it their all, and they showed me just what sumo spirit is.
Yeah.
One of the most fun matches was in the beginning of the day, Tomokaze versus Chura no Umi. They had a tachi-ai. Tomokaze slapped down Chura no Umi as Chura no Umi was running forward and Tomokaze was going backwards. So it was like one of those slap downs as you're running out of the ring backwards.
Right.
The judge, okay, so Tomokaze flew out of the ring. Chura no Umi fell onto his belly. The judge gave the win to Chura no Umi. But in the review, because there was a mono-e, it looked like Chura no Umi's hands hit the ground first before Tomokaze flew out of the ring. Every once in a while, there is a call that I question in sumo. But what do I know? What do I know? I haven't been studying sumo for 20 plus years. I've been watching less than a decade. So what do I know? Right? This was one of those moments where I was like, I have no idea why Chura no Umi got that win.
And you're like, I got two eyeballs, and what my eyeballs saw was not what the Gyoji saw.
Yeah,
or
not at all.
Whoever's
they
in the
saw
booth.
Something else. Well, yeah, and I know it has to do with who's going forward and who's going backward, and we could talk about this all day. But what I saw was kind of like, I'm not sure about that win, but okay, I agree. Fine. Chura no Umi could have that win. That's all right. Kusano got his kachikoshi against Shonan no Umi. So I think there's big things ahead for this kid. I really like watching him develop. Hirada Umi won against Kimbo-san. Oho did a great Tsukio Toshi against Oshoma's, who he fought. He ended 10-5. Oho did.
I know.
And
don't sleep on Oho.
There is a chance that he maybe could be bumped up to Sanyaku as well. So just noting that. Hakuoho got his Kachikoshi and an Outstanding Performance Award. He got the award for being the only person to beat Onosato
and
in this
to
basho.
do it with. Did he do it with the bicep or without? I mean, he did.
I believe he still had his bicep at this bet.
The rest of the basho, he
he
still managed to get that kachikoshi with only one bicep attached.
Yeah. But he is also at a great rank. He has a chance to jump into Sanyaku next time as well with his kachikoshi. He got it over Ura. Ura is another one who did very well this tournament. People love to see his sumo for good reason. It's always exciting. So lots to celebrate there. Wakamoto Haru went power for power against what seemed to be a very evenly matched match against Aonishiki. Wakamoto Haru kind of did what Shodai did. He pulled up Aonishiki's chest. Aonishiki allowed Wakamoto Haru to get his favorite grip, and they went chest to chest. And although Aonishiki tried everything to get away, Wakamoto Haru just plowed forward.
Yeah, he
and
had
won
more
that
strength.
match.
I was like, he
Yeah.
is stronger. Wait, was it also Shodai who beat Ionishiki?
Yes.
And see, he is also known as one of the strongest rikishi. And so I think maybe that's a tiny weakness for Ionishiki when he comes up against these guys that are bigger and actually have more strength. Like he has a hard time.
So Wakamoto Haru ended the basho with a 9-6 record, which was great to see. And Aonishiki, though he lost that match on day 15, he got his second technique prize. So he got a special prize this basho. Well deserved. Fantastic work. I kind of feel like Wakataka Kage used to get all these technique prizes. And here's Aonishiki, who's looked up to Wakataka Kage for years, now taking a technique prize. I just feel like it's a cool turning of the wheel. It's a really cool turning of the wheel. And I'm going to skip to Wakataka Kage versus Takanosho. Takanosho completely outpushed Wakataka Kage.
Mm-hmm.
My heart kind of broke yet once again for Wakataka Kage because he's ending with a Makikoshi instead of the Ozeki status that he was going after.
Yeah.
But man, what a win and what a finish for Takanosho at M7. He was awarded the Fighting Spirit Prize. So happy for Takanosho. And Takanosho ended with a 12-3 record.
Amazing.
Yeah. So much to be happy for. Okay, but here we go. The last match. This is the one that everyone was really tuning in for on day 15. And in my opinion, this was the perfect ending to this basho.
Yes.
Yeah. We all got what we wanted. We wanted a yokozuna showdown. Here it is. So they met. They were eyeing each other down. Onosato went down first, was sort of hanging out, waiting for Hoshoryu. Hoshoryu squatted, was given his very best danger eyes to Onosato. And then Hoshoryu just exploded at the tachi eyes. Hoshoryu put both hands right onto Onosato's neck. Onosato only had a chance to sort of step back and try to swat Hoshoryu's hands away. But as he did that and moved backward, Onosato, stepped out of the ring. So what that meant was Hoshoryu handily, won this match. And now we had a playoff.
Yes. I was very excited.
This surprised me. I did not expect it. He was so speedy, lightning fast. It was so good.
Yep.
So good.
The only problem is he reminded probably Onosato in that moment, he's capable of that. I better be prepared for that the next time we meet. He's going to be fast and he's going to come at me with everything he's got.
Yeah. One of the best things about the stats that they share on the English commentary of sumo is, like, I tend to forget these numbers. I just don't watch these numbers as much. And at the beginning, they said Hoshoryu actually has the edge on Onosato 6-2.
What?
Right? I was shocked by that. I was like, wow, is that right? Every once in a while, you come across a stat that's like, I did not realize that. So Hoshoryu won yet again. So that was 7-2 record between the two of them.
And they're tied.
Yeah. So each of them went back to their corners of, their workout rooms, and they squatted and they worked out and they slapped their bellies and they breathed deep and they do whatever they have to do. The
east dressing room and the west dressing room, and the cameras are there and they're stretching.
And I felt like this is a whole new era of sumo. We are truly in the Hoshoryu versus Onosato era of sumo, because each of their sumo styles are so different, but so good. And I'm really excited that we're here. So in the second match, when they finally came out from their respective sides, they had a big tachi, as you would expect. Hoshoryu lickety-split, immediately got the left outside grip on Onosato, spun, and it looked like an Uwatanage was a-comin'. And it was a-comin' fast. And Onosato countered by going with the throw and then leaning his chest into Hoshoryu while he was being thrown. Simultaneously, they were heading out, but with the lean, it meant that Onosato was on the top, kept himself on the top when they left the ring. Onosato didn't even need a belt grip. He just had a hold of like shoulders and chest, and Hoshoryu went to the ground first. The Gyoji double-checked because the call was so important. They had to get it right. It was to yokozuna. They knew it was an important call.
It was originally called for Onosato, and then they had they have a Manawi just to be like, I think we need a
just to make sure.
Yeah,
because they didn't want anybody to be like, no, you didn't get that right. So So it was initially called for Onosato, and after Manawi, they said, yes, that was the correct call. So Onosato became the Yusho winner. That was his 5th Yusho win, first win as a yokozuna.
This was the very first time in 28 years for a Japanese-born wrestler since Takano Hana in 1997 to win the tournament as a yokozuna. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. So it's been Mongolian yokozunas since then.
Mm-hmm. And Onosato has said that in his interviews afterwards that like he watches videos of Takano Hana. So he's a big fan of his, and he watches all of his old videos and stuff on the buses whenever they're traveling. So he's and Takano Hana was like amazing and big, beautiful golden boy of sumo. Both the brothers were, but pretty neat for them.
Yeah. But great for Hoshoryu too.
Yeah,
that makes them really good rivals when they're both that good.
And they delivered on giving us exciting sumo to watch.
Yeah, like 2 matches of exciting sumo on day 15.
A yokozuna showdown. We haven't had that in a while, so that's pretty cool. Yeah,
I think the last one I watched was Hakuho and Kakuryu. Yeah. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was great. I was thrilled. I did not expect to enjoy day 15 as much as I did.
Yep. I did too. I thought it was great. It was all I hoped for. So I guess.
Yeah. This sport, I tell you.
Is that it?
Yep. That's it for this week.
We will announce the creative bingo, right?
We'll announce on social media who the winners are for our second place bingo contest and our most creative card bingo contest. That'll be coming out over the next week. So make sure you look out for those. We'll be going back to just flat out podcasting, audio podcasting only between the bashos.
2 short bangs. And maybe by the next time you see me, they will have grown out. 6 weeks.
Until then, I'm Laurie.
I'm Leslie. Bye.
Bye.